Rabotai, welcome back to Dala Mushal Halacha. Elo Lakadosh Baruch Hu Be'olamu, Ela Arba Mushal Halacha B'lavad. All Hashem has in this world is the four Amot of Halacha that the people they sit and they learn Torah in. Rabotai, welcome back. Today we are continuing in Siman Reish Sadik Tet in Halacha Gimel. This is a new halacha. This halacha will be a one where you're going to have to buckle your seatbelt. It's going to be a roller coaster ride because we're going to have to look into another Siman to better understand the Biur halacha over here. Before we do start this new halacha, yesterday we did Siman Reish Sadik Tet, Halacha Bet Part 2. And if you guys paid attention in the Havadalah, I had a problem with when I was defining the Havadalah when he said the Maharik according to the opinion of the Rif, and then I was also very much bothered by the Biur Halacha because over there he says that it was going like the opinion of the Ravad, and also we saw the Gaon went according to the opinion of the Maharik. But in the Havadalah he says the Maharik according to the opinion of the Rif. And as I listened to my shiur, I don't think I elaborated enough on explaining the Havadalah. If you guys remember in the shiur, I told you I was trying to look for that word, how to be able to explain it in English. And I don't know if it came out clear. Maybe it did, maybe it did not. But I just want to go back and really quick do the Biur Halacha and then go back to the Havadalah. I just want to show you guys, because you have to know for future references how this works. I read it, I said it, right? I said, right, Maharik according to the opinion of the Rif, and then I said according to the opinion of the Rif, according to the opinion of the Ravad. But what does that mean? I mean, they sound identical. And if you want to have a better understanding of what I'm really asking, when you're telling me right now over here, when the Havadalah said yesterday in Odalad, that the Maharik is going according to the opinion of the Rif. So if it's going according to the opinion of the Rif, so why don't we just say that this Yesh Mishocholek is the Rif? Why do you have to tell me Maharik according to the opinion of the Rif? So that was really bothering me the whole time. But when I listened to it, I don't think I elaborated on that enough, because here it says according to the opinion of the Ravad, according to the opinion of the Rif. Over here I can tell you in simple terms that when the Shulchan Aruch says V'yesh Mishocholek b'davar, okay, I can understand that that's the Rif. I can understand that that's the Ravad and that's the Maharik, because he clearly says that this is their opinion. But when you look into the Havadalah says Maharik b'shem harif v'smag, and you add v'smag, sever mitzvot gadol also. If it's them that are holding that opinion, so why are you telling me Maharik? Okay, Rabotai, let me do it. You will see where I'm coming out, and I hope is going to actually benefit the people, because again, when I teach Torah, I want to make sure it's 100% understood, so people do not walk with any doubts. Honestly, the truth is, I don't know how people sleep when they can't understand something. This is why it's very hard for me to listen to shiurs, how do you call it, in the air, like, just somebody just speaking, and there's no real reading inside, and there's no real explanation. Because if I get stuck on something, how am I going to go to sleep? I have to go figure it out. I have to go find it. So this is why I stick to the books. I'm not saying you can't listen to part of this and that, but when it comes to Gemara, especially when it comes to Halacha, when it comes to Mishnayot, when it comes to these things where you have to have an understanding. Okay, partial. Okay, he said this, he said that, no problem. Musar, I could understand. But Gemara, if you don't understand, how do you move forward? Okay, listen, everybody has a different way of learning, no problem. But this is my way of learning, and this is also my way of teaching, which I have received from Rabbi Wilkins. So I want to make sure that what he gave me, I'm able to also give back to the community. So really what we want to look in today is we want to try to see right now is how is the Havadalah different than what the Biur Halacha is saying. The Bergol is saying Maharik Ledata Rif. Maharik in according to the opinion of the Rif and the Smag. The Biur Halacha is saying it's in the opinion of the Maharik. I don't get it. Is it the Maharik? I mean, watch this, Rabotai. Let me do it and you will see what I mean. After I break it down, after I separate one from the other, you will have a better understanding of what I'm asking. So if we look back into Dibra Matchil V'yesh Mishacholek Bedavar, again, Rabotai, who wants to not listen to the shiur, just wait until I start the new halacha, because otherwise you're not going to know, because you have to listen to part 2 for Siman Reis Sadik Tet halacha bet. Okay. V'yesh Mishacholek Bedavar, right? We said that there's somebody that argues on the stam. Hatam, the reason why he argues, Katvu Hataz v'Magen Avraham, the Hataz and the Magen Avraham wrote, this really because he held, this Yesh Mishacholek held, the Kevin Shamru Ba'uvin Avdil, since they said, come let's do Havadalah, they removed themselves from the meal, and it's included in the rule that it's included in the rule of a Seich Da'at. A Seich Da'at means when you take your mind off something. So once you remove yourself from the meal, you fall into the rule of removing your mind from that. Here we go. This is what I want to show you something. Pay close attention. If you want, something, let's do this. Let's write it down. Okay. Let's write it down. I really want you guys to understand this. If this will be the whole class, then this will be the whole class. I need to make sure that it's clear. Okay. Right now he's saying like this. The Biur Halacha is saying in the name of the Magen Avraham and the Taz, that this Yesh Mishacholek that the Shulchan Aruch quoted, the Biur Halacha wants to say, in the name of the Magen Avraham and the Taz, that it is the opinion of the Ra'avad. Okay. So he says like this. I'm going to just use the Hebrew to have a better L'da'at. One second, apologize. Da'at Ra'avad, 1 second now. He says, V'hu da'at, here. I'll show you guys in a second. V'hu da'at. Okay, watch this. He says, V'hu da'at Ra'avad, which means, and this is the opinion. Okay, excuse my handwriting. And which means that this is the opinion of the Ra'avad. Beautiful, let's continue. Right? So what is he continue saying? V'hu da'at Ra'avad, be'perik dal mehilchot berachot. And this is the opinion of the Ra'avad in chapter 4 from Halachot of Berachot. This really because the Ra'avad, he held, the option in tzrichin lahavsik, even though you don't have to stop, because makom tzrichin lahzor ulevarech. Nevertheless, you need to go back and you need to bless mishum hesech ada'at, because you took your mind off it. That's why you have to go back and you have to bless. Now, this is one point. Comes the Biur Hagra, and the Biur Hagra Katav, the Biur Hagra wrote, the Tama Yesh Mishacholegu, the reason of the Yesh Mishacholeg that argues on the stam is Svarat Maharik. Rabotai, listen very carefully. I gotta read the whole thing 1 second. The Tama Yesh Mishacholeg who Svarat Maharik. The reason of the one who argues on the stam is the opinion of the Maharik. Watch this. Svarat. Comes the Biur Hagra, and he says that this opinion of the Yesh Mishacholek is the opinion of the Maharik. Okay, beautiful. So far, they're arguing with each other, no problem. One, Magen Avraham and Taz, they both want to learn that when the Shulchan Aruch said Yesh Mishacholek, they want to learn that it's going on the Ravad. That was the Ravad, and they brought their proof. Comes the Biur Hagra, says no, that's not the Ravad. It's actually Svarat Maharik is the opinion of the Maharik. This Yesh Mishacholek that the Shulchan Aruch quotes, who's the author of that? That's the Maharik. Okay, fine. So he says like this, Biur Hagra Katav, in the Biur Hagra he wrote, the Tama Yesh Mishacholek who Svarat Maharik. The reason of the one that argues on the stam is the opinion of the Maharik, meaning is the Maharik himself. The Sirele that the Maharik held, Kahayesh Omrim Shebisiv Aleph, like the Yesh Omrim in Halacha Aleph, that you do need to stop when it gets dark. So it comes out, so when he says Ba'umin Avdil, so he needs to go back and he has to bless. Now, we're going to stop right over here, Rabotai. That's it. Again, this is more lumbus and it's more learning. This is nothing to do with halacha, like we explained in part 2 of the shiur. But this is what I want to try to break down. Now we know over here that according to the Magen Avraham and the Taz, they want to say that this Yesh Mishcholek is the opinion of the Ra'avad. According to the Biur HaGra, he wants to say Svar al-Maharik, the opinion of the Maharik. That this Yesh Mishomer is the opinion of the Maharik. Beautiful. Comes the Biur HaGola, and what does the Biur HaGola tell me? What does the Biur HaGola tell me? 1 second. Rabotai, see if you could notice the difference. Maharik L'dat Arif Ve Smag. Smag is several mitzvot gadol. Okay, so I'll write it in English. Okay. Rabotai, watch this. Comes the Biur HaGola and he says in Odalit, this is the opinion, this is Mishcholek that the Shulchan Aruch is quoting. It has to be the Maharik, L'dat HaRif, according to the opinion of the Rif, Vesmag, and several mitzvot gadol. Now, Rabotai, watch this. You see this over here, according to the opinion? That the Maharik is according to the opinion of the Rif and the Smag. And over here we're saying that according to the first understanding, we said V'hudat HaRavad, that this is the opinion of the Ravad, and this is Svar Maharik, and this is the opinion of the Maharik. Do you guys see any difference or no? Just think about it for a second. I want to show you something. You probably don't see any difference, but one question should be bothering you is like this. If this is the opinion of the Rif and the Smag, why are you telling me the Maharik is going according to the opinion of the Rif and the Smag? Just tell me like you said over here. Is the opinion of the Maharik. Is the opinion of the Ravad. Why do you have to tell me the Maharik according to the opinion of the Rif and the Smag? And not only that, then the Biur HaGola says also, if I feel the Tosfot, you could even say it according to the words of Tosfot. So, Rabotai, I want to enlighten us today with a beautiful pshat. This what really bothered me yesterday. How could it be that you're saying according to the opinion and you're not quoting him? Just tell me, this Yesh Mishcholek is the Rif, this Yesh Mishcholek is the Smag, is the Tosfot, just like you told me on the bottom. So it comes out like this. Whenever you see this type of language, there's a very big difference if I use the language V'hudat HaRavad, and it is the opinion of the Ravad. Over there I can tell you that this Yesh Mishcholek, this Yesh Mishcholek is the Ravad, because when you tell me like this, when you say V'hudat HaRavad, I can tell you that is the opinion of the Ravad, meaning the Ravad himself said it. When you say Svar al-Maharik is the opinion of the Maharik, I can tell you that this Yesh Mishcholek is the Maharik. He's the one that holds like this. But when you go to this side, when you say Maharik L'dat HaRif V'Smag, and then you could even say that if I feel the different Tosfot, you could even say according to the words of Tosfot. Over there we have a very different ballgame. How? When you ever use the word L'da'at, even though it says according to the opinion of the Rov, according to the opinion of the Rif, the Smag, and even you could add and you could say it's also according to the opinion of the Tosfot, you know what that means? What does that mean according to the opinion? It's not the Rif saying it. It's not the Smag saying it. It's not even Tosfot saying it. Not one of them are saying what the Maharik is saying. So why is he quoting them? Here we go. Whenever we see this language, let me just use one of them. Let me use the Rif. You can apply it to the Smag, and you can also apply it to the Tosfot, just to make it simple. Whenever we say over here, Maharik L'dat HaRif, is saying that the Maharik, he went according to the opinion of the Rif, meaning that he understood in the words of the Rif that Peshat, that understanding, that you do need to go back and bless. That's the way he understood him. But if you take the words of the Rif, you'll never find it. Maybe the Rif never meant it. There's many ways you can understand the Rishonim. That's why he's telling you over here, Hamaharik ledat harif. The maharik, according to the opinion of the Rif, meaning not that the Rif said it. It aligns with his words, but that's the way he sees the Rif's words. But the Rif never said it openly. Because had the Rif said it openly, then it would have been the Rif. Same thing with the Smak and same thing with the Tosfot. Okay, Rabotai, I just wanted to get it out there because I wanted to make sure that you guys have it, and I hope you guys do enjoy it. And it's very, very important when you learn, you have to understand. In Hebrew, when you say it, it clicks. But when you say it in English, you see how much more explanation needs to be explained? Take any book. Hebrew, this big. English, it could be volume sometimes. Okay. In any event, Rabotai, so what we said yesterday, that this V'yesh Mishocholek B'davar, according to the Magen Avraham and the Taz, is the Ra'avad. According to the Biur Hagra, this Yesh Mishocholek, it could be the Maharik. Again, it could be the Ra'avad, it could be the Maharik. According to the Biur Hagola, is the Maharik in the world, if I can say it, of the Rif. It aligns with his words. I could learn out from the words of the Rif. And the Smag and the Tosot, this is what he meant. But they never said it openly. So we see over here, Rabotai, when Shulchan Aruch paskin something, says Tam V'yesh, we also have to even know that that's what the Biur HaGola does, and that's what the Biur Halacha was trying to do. It was trying to tell me, who is this Yesh Mishocholek? So we should know who the author of this halacha is. Rabotai, this is Torah learning. Okay, let's continue. Now, I know I took up a lot of time, but that had to be said. We are starting Halacha Gimel. Halacha Gimel follows Halacha Aleph Bet. So you have to do Aleph Bet to do Halacha Gimel well. Remember, I'm not going back to explain everything what we did in Halacha Aleph and Bet. We continue moving and you have to apply it. You have to really understand it. Right? In Halacha Aleph we did 9 parts on Halacha Aleph alone. Once we have that, from there everything goes smooth sailing. Okay. Rabotai, Halacha Gimel says like this. Kishimahsik lahavdil. When a person interrupts to do Havadalah, now you might ask your question, you might already be asking a question. What is he stopping for? Is he stopping just for drinking, or is he stopping for from the meal? I'm sorry, not for. Is he stopping from drinking? Is he stopping from the meal? Good questions. We'll see everything B'ezrat Hashem. Like usual, we first read the Halacha. When we read the Halacha, it's not clear. When we start learning inside, it becomes more clear. Okay. So, Siman Reis Tzadik Ted Halacha Gimel says, Kishimahsik lahavdil. When a person interrupts to do Havdalah, Ein tzarich levarech borei pri hagefen. You don't need to bless the blessing of borei pri hagefen. Al kos shel Havdalah. And the cup of wine that you're going to do on Havdalah. V'yeshobrim shitzarich. Someone will learn that you do need to bless on the kos shel Havdalah. I will be using the terminology kos shel Havdalah, which means the cup of wine for Havdalah. So just have that in mind. Okay, let's upgrade our learning, Rabotai. Okay, so that's what the Shulchan Aruch says. Kishimafsik lahavdil, when a person interrupts to do Havdalah, ein tzarich levarech borei pri hagefen al kos shel Havdalah. He does not need to say the bracha of borei pri hagefen and the cup of Havdalah. I shouldn't say. Okay, I said it anyway. And someone will say you do have to go ahead and say the bracha on kos shel Havdalah. Comes the Mishnah Berurah. Listen to this. Comes the Mishnah Berurah. Kishimafsik lahavdil in Sivkat and Tet. And over there, Hainu, which means to say, and then there's a Tet Zayin. Before you even begin to read the Mishnah Berurah, there's an Ot Tet Zayin. Look into the Ot Tet Zayin. He says in the name of the Achronim. Beautiful. But Rabotai, now if you look into Tetvav Rabotai, not Tetvav, I'm sorry, if you look into the Biur Halacha, where it says Kishimafsik lahavdil, because what does it mean Achronim? We're going to see, let's do the Biur Halacha, there's going to be a few parts, and then we're going to jump into the Mishnah Berurah and we'll understand why he passed him. Because over here in Tetzan, he's telling us the Achronim. Which Achronim? What Achronim? We have to know what we're saying. So if we look into the Biur Halacha and Dibra Matchil Kishimafsik lahavdil, when a person interrupts to do Havdalah, here we go. The Biur Halacha starts explaining to you how there could be differences in how, when you have to bless, when you don't have to bless, when it comes to Havdalah. Watch this. V'hainu, and that is, Kishlo amru ba'u v'navdil. This halacha on top, when a person interrupts to do Havdalah, that is in a situation specifically where you did not say those words, ba'u v'navdil. Then we're going to tell you that if you interrupt for Havdalah, and now you're going to go ahead and do Havdalah on the Koshel Havdalah, we're going to tell you don't have to say the bracha of Borei Pri Gefen, because you didn't say the words the ba'u v'navdil. Ukishe amru, but here we go. But when you do say those words, ba'u v'navdil, tal yazeh b'bilgutat ataz umagen araham, this machloket, this argument is dependent. This machloket is amongst the Taz and the Magen Avraham, le'el b'siman reish ayin aleph sivhei, above in Siman 271 halacha 5. Now, in order to understand what he's saying over here, we have to go over there. Okay, Rabota, I told you, learning is learning. Let's try to do this. So before we jump into Siman reish ayin aleph sivhei, let's just see over here what the Biur Halacha is teaching us. Point number one, we know when it says that when you're coming to interrupt for Havdalah, you don't have to bless the Borei Pri Gefen and the Koshel Havdalah. We know right now off the top that we're not speaking about a scenario when you went ahead and you said the words Ba'u v'navdil. We're not speaking about that case. Because if we were speaking about that case, there is a machloket. That if a person, when he stopped for Havdalah because of the words Ba'u v'navdil, like we saw in Halacha Bet, if you're stopping because of that, there's a machloket, do you say the bracha on the Koshel Havdalah or not? In order to further understand the Biur Halacha, we do need to go ahead and see Siman Reish Ayin Aleph in Halacha Hey. So he says like this. Shnaim shehayu. Okay, Rabotai, that's on page 92 in Rabbi Dahan's Amud Hora'ah. In Siman Reish Ayin Hey, in Siman Reish Ayin Aleph, that's 271 in Halacha Hey. Shnaim shehayu shotim. If you had two people that were drinking, we're going to go over here, we'll see it towards the end of the Halacha, it has to be wine, okay? Shnaim shehayu shotim. If you had two people that were drinking wine, ve'amru bo'u unikadesh kiddush hayom, and they said, let's go and do kiddush. V'yesh, I'm sorry, one second, I apologize. Shnaim shehayu shotim. If you had two people that were drinking, ve'amru bo'u unikadesh kiddush hayom, and they said, let's go and do the kiddush of the day. Ne'esar alahem lishtot ad shikadshu. It's forbidden. It becomes forbidden on them to drink until they do kiddush. Ve'im ratu lachzor v'lishtot kodem shikadshu. But what happens if they wanted to go back and continue drinking before they do the kiddush? Afa pi she'enam rasha'im, even though they're not allowed to go back and drink. Tzrichim lachzor ulevarech tichila. They need to go back and they need to bless initially. Borei Pri Gefen v'achar kach yishtu. And afterwards, can they only go ahead and drink? Rabotai, listen to this very carefully. Comes the Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch says like this. These are the halachot of Kiddush over here. Two people are sitting, and they're having wine. And they said, Ba'u nikadesh. Let's go and do Kiddush. Comes the Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch says, from now and on, even though we'll see it's during the day, it's asur for them to drink. They're not allowed to drink. They have to do Kiddush if they want to continue drinking. They don't want to follow the halacha. They don't want to listen to us. No problem. They want to continue drinking, which is not allowed. We're going to tell them, go back and bless Borei Pri Gefen on the initial drink that you had, that you were drinking before you said those words, Ba'u v'nikadesh, and then you didn't say the bracha. So let's say like this, Rabotai. Let's say Shabbat is at 6 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, the guy said Borei Pri Gefen on a cup of wine. And he was having a good time, they were drinking. At 5:15, they said, Ba'u v'nikadesh. Let's go do Kiddush. But then they say, no, we don't want to do Kiddush. So we tell them, you have to do Kiddush. No, we don't want to do Kiddush. So now, even though they already initially said at 5 o'clock, the bracha Borei Pri Gefen on that cup of wine, even now, they're not allowed to drink it, but even though they're going to go ahead and drink it, we're going to tell you, even though it's wrong, you have to now give me a new bracha. because when you said Ba'u Nikadesh, you cut yourself from the previous drinking. So that's what the Shulchan Aruch is telling you. You have to go back and you have to bless Borei Peri Gefen, and then you're allowed to continue drinking. If you look into Siv Kat and Yutet in the Mishnah Berurah, and by the way, I'm not going to be touching Rabbi Dahan's teaching over here, not to make it more complicated, because I want to get to the Biur Halacha. We're not going to do everything today, I just want to touch upon it. Siv Kat and Yutet says, V'amru Ba'u Nikadesh, when they said, come and let's do Kiddush, we're speaking about over here a case, when they said over here, let's go and do Kiddush, we're speaking about a case that it was during the day. It was before sunset. Like I gave the case of 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. and sunset, let's say 6 o'clock. Why? Because had it been after sunset, meaning during twilight, and for sure had it been already when it was nightfall, even if they don't say those words, the obligation of Kiddush falls on them by itself, and it's forbidden for them to eat and to drink, like it's written in Seif Dalad. So comes over the Mishnah Berurah Seif Kat and Yutet, and what's he telling us? You have to say that the Shulchan Aruch is speaking about the case when they said to Ba'u Nikadesh during the day. Why do you have to learn this during the day? Because had it been after sunset, and how much more so if it's already at nightfall, even if they would never say the words Ba'u Nikadesh, they would have to stop and do Kiddush, because they're not allowed to continue eating and drinking. So therefore, that's what the Mishnah Berurah is telling us over here, that whenever we see in the Shulchan Aruch when it says Ba'u Nikadesh, you have to learn that it's going, that they said it during the day. If you look into Siv Kat and Chav, Adishi Katshu, until they're going to go ahead and do Kiddush, the Ayide Amirat Ba'u Nikadesh, because when they said those words, come and let's do Kiddush, Chala Alahem Chovat Kiddush Hayom, the obligation of the Kiddush of the day, the sanctity of the day, fell on them. V'nesar Alahem Lishtot, and it's asur for them to drink. Rabotai, let me just see something over here. Let me just see something we have over here. Chav Aleph. Siv Kat Chav Aleph is pretty long. And we also have to do Siv Kat and Chav Tet in the Shar Tzion, which also needs an explanation. Again, I want to try to keep the shurim at a certain time. I know I gave that whole introduction with the Da'at. If I wouldn't do that, we'd probably do a little bit more. But we'll stop right over here because it's very important to grasp the concept, and then Bezrat Hashem B'Neder will move forward. So let's just do a small chazara. In Siman Reish Tzadik Tet, in Halacha Gimel, we said that if a person interrupts his meal, okay, I shouldn't have said meal because I want the Mishnah Berurah to show us how to learn. Okay. When a person interrupts to do Havadalah, we saw step number 1 that this is not speaking about a case where they said Ba'u v'navdil. Correct? It's not a case I speak about where they said come and let's do Havadalah. Why? Because like we're about to start to see, in the following shur, we're going to start to see that when they say Ba'u v'navdil, there is an argument when you're saying Havdalah, do you have to say the bracha on the koshel Havdalah? So that's what, let's go one more time. When a person interrupts for Havdalah, we're speaking about a case where he did not say Ba'u v'navdil, and tzarich levarech borei peri gefen. You don't need to say the bracha of borei peri gefen. A koshel Havdalah, on the cup of Havdalah. And some say, no, you do have to say. So, we saw in the Biur Halacha, he did mention that once you say those words, Ba'u v'navdil, automatically it brings me to an argument that is between the Magen Avraham and the Taz. Which brings us to Siman Reish Ayin Aleph, which is 271, Halacha Hey, which is Halacha 5, where it says over there that and this is where the whole argument begins. Whatever we're going to apply over here, we're going to apply over there. That's why we came over here. But we saw in Halacha Hey that if two people were sitting during the day, according to the way the Mishnah Berurah wants to explain, and they both said Ba'um v'nikadesh, and they both said let's come and do Kiddush, they're not allowed to eat or drink anything from that point on, even though it's still day outside, even though the sun didn't set. What do they have to do? They have to first do Kiddush, and only then can they continue. But what happens if they don't want to listen to us? They don't want to do Kiddush. They want to continue going back to their drinking business. We're going to tell them in that case, when you go back, you have to bless according to the Shulchan Aruch, the blessing of Borei Prageva, because we're assuming, or the Shulchan Aruch is speaking about wine. And we did see in the Mishnah Berurah, in Siv Katan Chaf, why is that, Rabotai? Because by saying those words, Ba'uvi Nikadesh, you bring the obligation of Kiddush upon you, and that forbids you from continuing to eat. Okay, Rabotai, we will stop over here. B'ezrat Hashem b'li neder. I hope you guys really did understand that opinion, because you might think it's not important, but it's so important, because these words, when you're learning, because remember, I'm just doing Mishnah Berurah with you, but when you do Beit Yosef, when you do the Beit Chadash, when you're learning other Rishonim, and they're telling you Ledat, Da'at, Svara, all these words, they play a very big role. So let's continue over there. Let's conclude over there also. Whenever you see that Vehud Da'at, when it's the opinion of the Ravat, it's his opinion mamish. But whenever it says Maharik, or it doesn't matter whose name, Lida'at, so and so, we saw it's according to his opinion, meaning it aligns with his words, but but he's not saying those words openly, because had those words been openly said, it should have just said that this is the Rif. That's the opinion of the Rif. I hope you guys get it. I hope you guys enjoy it, love it. Rabotai, have a great day. May Hashem bless you all.